Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm here to bring you all of the books that my friends recommended to me for the 12 Recs in 12 months challenge thingy. So if you don't already know, there is a Bookstagrammer. I believe their handle is Shadowbooker. I'll be sure to display it on the screen. But they created this template where you get 12 recommendations from 12 friends and then you read one of those every month of the year. Because one of my goals for this year was to get my own TBR down a little, I decided that I was going to focus on reading books on my shelves for the first 6 months and then do the 12 months and 12 recommendations thing the second half of the year and just do 12 and 6. However, I did also decide that I wanted to do Vlogmas this year, so I don't want to wait until the second half of the year just because I don't want to have to do this in December. I'm probably not going to have a TBR for December this year because there's just too much going on around the holidays. So I'm going to try to start this in April instead, but still do 2 books every month so that I don't mess up my Vlogmas schedule and whatever. But I really do love this idea. A lot of people on Bookstagram and Book Twitter are participating, and I really am excited to read all of these books that my friends have recommended to me. So this video is going to be my 12 and 12 TBR, essentially. I'm going to show you all of the books that I've been recommended and who recommended them, and I will probably do a wrap up for all of these also. Typically what people have done, they put it on their page and they're just like, the first 12 people to rec me something, I'm gonna read those books. I decided to be a little bit more strategic and I chose who I wanted to recommend me a book. So all of these people were handpicked by myself, and I trust all of them completely, and I expect that I'm going to enjoy all of the books on this list. The first book on this list is While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. So I really don't know what this book is about. I have not read the synopsis. That's probably going to be the case for quite a few of these, to be totally honest with you. I do know that this is a part of the Wedding Date series. I have not yet read The Wedding Date, and this is like book 6 in the series, I think, which drives me a little crazy because I know they're companion novels and they don't have to be read in order, but I prefer to read them in order. Robin knows that as well, but she still recommended it. So y'all know that I struggle with romance, but I do trust Robin, and I do know that there are books in the series that people really love and some that people don't. So I think that Robin picked one that is one of the more popular ones, one that more people tend to like. So I think I'm gonna like it too, and I am excited to try it. The next book was recommended by Dasha, and it's Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. So Dasha really loved this book, and I do trust her judgment. We don't always agree, but I do trust her judgment. And just the way that she talks about this book, I absolutely think that this is one that I also will enjoy. I also do want to start reading some of Rebecca Roanhorse's work, so fingers crossed that I do enjoy this as much as Dasha did, and enough to read the sequel that I believe is supposed to be coming out at some point this year. The third book on this list was recommended to me by Vina, and it is Forging a Nightmare. So I do not know much about this book. I know that Vina has a review of it on her channel, and I have it saved in my watch later for when I do finally read this book, but I am really excited. From the cover, I believe it's like a paranormal mystery detective-y something. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. So I'm really excited to read it. Plus, I definitely trust Vina's judgment. If anything was amiss or uncomfy or cringy, that Vina would definitely tell me. So fully expecting that I'm going to enjoy this one and not have any complaints about it. The next book on this list was recommended to me by Nicole from Who Picked This Book, and it is The Plot is Murder by V.M. Burns. Nicole, to me, is like the queen of book recommendations. Anytime I need a rec for something, especially romance, I'm going to ask Nicole. I think I have 2 lists from her right now. I have a contemporary romance one, just because, you know, still trying to figure that out. I have a age gap romance one from her that I'm actually really excited to start diving more into. I read A Duke by Default though, and it was actually my favorite in the Reluctant Royal series, which I was not expecting. So super excited about that. She also sent me a bunch of book recommendations when I was first starting out my library of Black literature, and this book was on there. So I am excited to read it. However, if you saw my last drunk book review, my cozy mystery journey has not been going well. I'm still excited to read this book. I'm still hoping that I enjoy it. Vina said that I won't, but I'm still going to try. And even if I don't, I still have a few other cozy mysteries that I do want to try. So even if it doesn't go well, I'm sure it'll be quite an experience. Maybe I'll get another drunk book review out of it if I don't like it, but I still think I'm gonna like it more at least than Death by Coffee, because that was just trash, but we'll see. The next book on this list was recommended to me by Jess, and I'm actually really excited about it. It's Ring Shout. Jess absolutely loved this book. Everyone that I know that has read it has really loved it, and I do really want to read it. It's also very short, so I'm excited about that. I kind of know what this is about, I kind of don't, but again, like with most books, I'm not going to take the time to read the synopsis. I'm just going to go into it blind. I actually really am excited about this, so I have a copy of this for my library, and I think I'm just going to borrow that one and read it before I buy a copy for myself, because I'm supposed to be not buying too many books at the moment. But I'm really excited about this one. I think it's gonna be really good. Yeah, I just think it's gonna be really good. The next book was recommended to me by Heather, and it's Getting Schooled by Christina C. Jones. So I'm excited about this one because it is a series that I wanted to start anyway, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Heather, Nicole, Ashley from Bookish Realm. So I think I'm really gonna like this one. Plus, I don't think I've read anything by Christina C. Jones yet. So obviously I have to fix that. Heather knows the things that I hate in romance, so I think that if she recommended this to me specifically, then I will definitely enjoy it. The next book that was recommended to me is a recommendation from Kindle, and it is House of Holo. I really like this cover. To be totally honest though, I don't know what this is about. I don't know what genre it is. By the cover, I would think fantasy, but I could be totally wrong. Who knows? I don't know. I'm excited to read it though, so that's all I got. I'm probably not going to read the synopsis before I start it either, so. Next book was recommended to me by Anya, and it is Hazel Bly and the Deep Blue Sea. Again, I don't know anything about this book, and that's okay. But I definitely trust Anya, and Anya is a very fast reader. She reads a lot in a short amount of time. So I think that if of all of the things she's read, this is the one that she picked, then I'm definitely going to enjoy it. The next book that I will be reading is These Violent Delights. This one was picked for me by B at B's Book Holo. I love B. I love everything about them. I love their channel. I love their style. I love their makeup. I just love B, and I was so excited to get a recommendation from them. So this is a book that I was actually like, it's not that I wasn't interested, I just wasn't sure if I wanted to read it because of it's a reimagining of Romeo and Juliet, and I don't really care for Romeo and Juliet, but B likes it, Dasha likes it, so I think I'm gonna like it. It's actually a 5-star prediction for me, so hopefully I do enjoy it, and if I do, I'll pick up the sequel. The next book on this list was recommended to me by Deshauna, and it's Son of the Storm. So to be totally honest, I've heard a ton of people talk about this book, but Deshauna and I have the same tastes as well as the same pet peeves in books, so I know that there probably won't be any really annoying tropes or things that I really hate in this one, so that's definitely a good sign. The next recommendation came from Rachel, and it is Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis. Super excited about this because the last recommendation that I got from Rachel was also an Angela Davis book. We read Women, Race, and Class for one of her live shows, and I absolutely loved it. For the library, somebody sent us another Angela Davis book. I can't remember the title right now, but I'm also looking forward to reading that. But I definitely think that I'm going to enjoy this because it's Angela Davis. She also recommended that I should get the audio because it is narrated by Angela herself, and I am super stoked about that. And the last recommendation that I have is The Infinity Course. This was recommended to me by Neeks. So I had not heard of this book before the recommendation, and when I posted all of the books on TikTok, someone said, oh, Infinity Quartz is my favorite, you're gonna love it, da, da, da. And I was like, interesting, because this is the only one that I haven't heard anything about. I think it's gonna be really good. I'm really excited to get into all of these. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first book in a series, which is fine, but I recently made a series spreadsheet that was loosely based off of the one that Shauna made, and I've got a lot of series that I need to get through, but those are all of my recommendations that I got from 12 of my friends, and I'm super looking forward to starting to read these. So like I said, hopefully I will start reading some of these next month. Aside from the ones that I do own, I'm probably going to try to find them on audiobook or ebook or whatever instead of buying all of them right away. Just let me know if you have read any of these or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.